Hat, sunglasses, Pepsi, notes, sources, thick skin, check. You already know. Let's go. Golden Bluded is a college football YouTube channel for entertainment. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get into our next college football video. Single digits here in the upstate of South Carolina. That's why I'm dressed like this. This is not a gimmick. It is single digits outside. Yes, the heat does work, but it just makes it regular cold instead of freezing like it is. So that's why I'm wearing several layers of clothing. And today I want to talk about why you should never trust the preseason polls. And most people don't, including myself. But I still wanted to talk about it to see just how wrong they are. I mean, how would you know who to rank in the top 25 before the season even played? What is the point of the preseason poll other than something to talk about, something to entertain people with? So thank you for that. You give me content for my YouTube channel. But other than that, the preseason top 25 poll serves no purpose at all. But just how bad, just how off was it this year? Well, in order to figure that out, we have to go through the preseason top 25. Here we go. Number 1, Alabama. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Georgia. Number 4, Clemson. Number 5, Notre Dame. Number 6, Texas A&M. Number 7, Utah. Number 8, Michigan. Number 9, Oklahoma. Number 10, Baylor. Number 11, Oregon. Number 12, Oklahoma State. Number 13, NC State. Number 14, USC. Number 15, Michigan State. Number 16, Miami Hurricanes. Number 17, Pitt. Number 18, Wisconsin. Number 19, Arkansas. Number 20, Kentucky. Number 21, Ole Miss. Number 22, Wake Forest. Number 23, Cincinnati. Number 24, Houston. Number 25, BYU. So just how off were they? Well, the top 5, they were majorly off, but at the same time, they were actually really, really close. Number 3 was Georgia. They finished the season number 1. Of course, they're in the playoffs. We'll see how they do against Ohio State. That's not a bad starting ranking for them. Number 1, Alabama. I mean, they're Alabama. You're going to rank them number 1 probably 9 times out of 10 in the preseason. Alabama finishes 10-2. So, yeah, that was very much overranked. But as far as the regular season goes, in the playoff rankings, Alabama did finish 5th. So that ranking isn't that far off. And then, of course, number 2, Ohio State. That's only 2 spots off. But the 2 rankings that are a little bit more off as far as the top 5 is number 4, Clemson, and number 5, Notre Dame. Clemson finishes 11-2 ACC champs. So it isn't that far off. I think Clemson is a top 10 team. And then number 5, Notre Dame going 8-4. The last half of the season kind of bailed out the preseason top 25 because they were looking like a terrible team in the first half, losing to Marshall and Stanford. But then they go on to beat Syracuse, North Carolina, and Clemson. So they actually had a good year. So that ranking, even though it's overranked, it's not that far off. I think Notre Dame finished, like number 19, number 20, something like that. So it's off by a good bit, but it's not totally off the wall. Going beyond that, number 7, Utah, they finished 10-3, Pac-12 champs. I'm fine with that. They don't look too stupid. Underranked Michigan at number 8, and I knew that they had underranked Michigan. I thought Michigan was going to be a contender again. Oklahoma at number 9 and Baylor at number 10. Both of those huge misses because both of those teams finished 6-6. So yes, that made the preseason poll look downright silly. Moving on, Oregon at 11. That actually doesn't look silly at all. Oregon turned out to be a good team going 9-3. Oklahoma State at number 12. Yes, they were definitely overranked. They finished 7-5, losing to lowly West Virginia. That tells you how bad and how wrong that ranking was. 13 NC State, 14 USC, 15 Michigan State. USC at 14, not that bad. NC State at 13, not that bad. But Michigan State at number 15, I tried to warn people that Michigan State was going to absolutely flop this year. Having them at number 15, I was scratching my head. And of course, they finished 5-7, proving me right. And the preseason AP poll wrong. And then 16, Miami. I think everybody fell for Miami. Me, Uncle Lou, Pigskin Pete, the preseason top 25. Everybody thought that Miami was going to be a good team this year. Well, the laugh is on all of us. Miami pulled a quick win over all of us and finished 5-7. What a joke this year. 17 Pitt at 8-4. That's not terrible. They didn't finish the season ranked, but 8-4, that's still respectable, including beating my West Virginia Mountaineers. 18 Wisconsin, 19 Arkansas. That's laughable as well because both of those teams finished 6-6. Talk about underperforming. Wisconsin and Arkansas had decent years the year before. I mean, 6-6 getting to a bowl? No, that's not going to cut it. Kentucky at number 20 going 7-5. I warned Kentucky fans that Kentucky was going to have a slight step back this year, and that's exactly what happened. Number 21, Ole Miss. That's actually believable, even though they finished on a horrible note going 8-4. That's still, right on the fringe. Wake Forest, number 22 at 7-5. Once again, not that far off. They're right on the fringe. 23, Cincinnati, 9-4. Once again, right on the fringe. 24, Houston, 7-5. I think they're closer to being a bust than being on the fringe. And then number 25, BYU. That's actually pretty close. They finished the season 8-5. What about the teams that they missed as far as not ranking in the preseason AP Top 25? What about Tennessee? Tennessee had a magical year, having a 10-win season. I predicted that, and yet the AP Top 25 didn't even have them ranked in the preseason. Penn State, that was baffling to me. I also predicted Penn State to have a 10-win season, which is exactly what happened. But they weren't ranked in the preseason poll. LSU at 55. They were more of a sleeper, so I can understand why they weren't ranked. But I had a suspicion that LSU was going to be decent. Mississippi State not ranked and only getting 15 votes to even approach getting ranked. They finished strong ranked. Kansas State with 14 votes. I thought that was laughable. Do they not use their eyeballs? Kansas State was primed to have a good run in the Big 12. That's why I had them as my dark horse in the Big 12. And they did exactly that. They won the Big 12. But that just tells you that the AP poll has no idea what they're doing in the preseason. To go on top of that, South Carolina, I know not a lot of people saw that. And they did finish 8-4, so it's not that big of a deal. But still, UCLA, that one surprised me. I warned people all year long that UCLA was going to be a good team, and I got laughed at and pointed at. What are you talking about? Chip Kelly hasn't done anything. Have you not been seeing what he's doing over there? He had a good year last year, and I knew that they were going to build upon that this year, and that's exactly what's happened. So those of you that were laughing at me whenever I was talking about UCLA being a good team, now the joke's on you. I also thought Washington was going to be good. They weren't ranked in the preseason top 25. Florida State, and finally Oregon State. Those three teams I thought were going to have better years. I didn't think that they were going to be elite, but I had a sneaky suspicion that they were going to finish in the top 25, and that's exactly what happened. But the biggest practical joke that was played on the preseason poll was, well, first of all, ranking Texas A&M at number 6. And they finished 5-7. That made you look silly right there. And then the other one was not ranking TCU at all in your preseason top 25. But I have to admit, that one got me too. I had TCU finishing near the bottom of the Big 12. Thought they were going to have an identity crisis. Wasn't impressed with what Sonny Dykes had done up to that point. So that got me as well. But Texas A&M at number 6, I think a lot of people knew better than that. Top 25, yes, I could see that because of the talent. But Texas A&M hasn't proven they can be a consistent top 10 team for you to rank them in the top 10 for your preseason poll. That one made you straight up look stupid. Fast forward to the first playoff rankings. This is much closer. This is why you need to wait till week 10 to start doing rankings, because this is much closer than the preseason top 25. So the first playoff rankings look like this. It's not that far off, except for the number 1 ranking, and that was Tennessee. And it was just because they beat Alabama. Every time somebody beat Alabama, oh, they're a national championship contender now. LSU with 2 losses, just because they beat Alabama, they were a national championship contender all of a sudden. That was a stupid, stupid line of thinking. But beyond that, let's take a deep breath. Beyond that, 2 was Ohio State, 3 was Georgia, 4 was Clemson, 5 was Michigan, 6 was Alabama, 7 was TCU, 8 was Oregon, 9 was USC, 10 was LSU, 11 was Ole Miss, 12 was UCLA, 13 was Kansas State, 14 was Utah, 15 was Penn State, 16 was Illinois, 17 was North Carolina, 18 was Oklahoma State. That was the start of Oklahoma's descent into hell. 19 was Tulane, 20 was Syracuse, 21 was Wake Forest, 22 NC State, 23 Oregon State, 24 Texas, and 25 UCF. Yes, that looks a lot better. There were still a few misses like Oklahoma State because they were just starting their descent downward. Syracuse got some injuries right around this time, so they were falling. And same with Illinois. They were starting to fall as well. But other than that, the rest of this looks really, really good. This is why we need to wait till week 10 to start doing rankings, except for the fact that it does give me content for my YouTube channel. So I'm actually saying don't stop the preseason poll, because the more content for my YouTube channel, the better. So y'all let me know in the comments section, where do you think the preseason top 25 poll was wrong the most as far as the teams that they ranked, or the teams that they didn't rank to start the year? And do you think that we need to wait till week 10 to start ranking teams as well? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.